why I like Trump, and I'll try to be as brief as possible. One thing, major thing, obviously, is immigration. It is one of Trump's biggest planks on his platform, being specifically removing illegal immigrants, particularly those with criminal records, and building a wall to prevent further ones from entering the country. Now, this is coupled with a very important addition, which has not been done before, and that is labeling the cartels as terrorists, right? Giving the ability to actually get rid of them. They are the source of the problem. Now, here's a couple of things people said. Oh, Trump says you can tell just by looking at them. Yeah, you can tell by looking at an MS-13 member that they are a criminal. Right? I do not hate Hispanics, Latinos, or anything. My wife is a Latina and everything. I speak Spanish. I've been to South America. I know the deal. Right? Legal immigration will always be a part of this country. If you can't agree to get rid of criminal illegal aliens who have committed crimes like the R word, murder, things of that nature, then there's no point in having a discussion because it's not appropriate. Those are obviously his first targets, and good. Next we have the ability to fix South America, Central America, Mexico via getting rid of the cartels, such as in El Salvador, will make illegal immigration unnecessary. Why are people leaving Mexico, Guatemala, and all these places? Is it because the weather? No. Is it because wild animals attack them at night? No. It's the cartels. If you get rid of the cartels, all the problems are gone, and Guatemalans will be perfectly happy to stay in Guatemala. Right? Mexicans won't be fleeing across the border. Okay? Fix the problem. The problem is the cartels. There's some other problems, but the cartels are the big one, and if you get rid of them, you'll fix 80% of the problems. And it'll end far more suffering than any open border will. Okay, thinking that open border is going to fix any problem is stupid. Okay, it's going to allow the cartels to come in here, and all it does is allow the cartels to not meet resistance, because anyone who would resist them in their own country, right, flees. All the good people run away, bad people follow them, and nothing happens. It's not a solution. The solution is to get rid of the cartels. Trump did the right thing. If you disagree, you are fighting along ideological lines and not trying to actually help Hispanic people. You're not actually trying to help them. Fix the problem. The problem is they can't get here. The problem is there's cartels in their country. In his other planks on his platform, besides just immigration, there are some caveats that I'm not a big fan of. If you know what National Socialism is, right? In German, it's National Sozialism with a Z-I, N-A-Z-I. That's where the nickname Nazi comes from. That is when you nationalize, right, companies. So you make them part of the government and stuff. Like, what he wants to do with TikTok is actual fascism. The one thing you like as a, young liberal on TikTok is the one thing that's actually fascist about him. So, enjoy. Many other good things, releasing the JFK files, obviously good. Freeing political prisoners. I mean, some of these people really should not have been in jail, and the big thing that people don't like, and the reason they voted for Trump, is because they're tired of the state, the government, being too big. Locking people up, and then letting immigrants run wild, right? That's not going to win you votes. That's not going to win you friends and influence people. That's going to get you kicked to the curb. All right, letting the government get too big is not a good thing. And that is one thing that Trump does want, in some regards, is wanting the big government, but he does want, he's fixing a lot of the corruption. And if you think that any systems, particularly as large as the United States government, can exist for a long time without any sort of cleaning out of corruption, you're insane. There needs to be periodic cleansings of these things. They get dirty. You change your car's oil, but you won't change the government's oil, which is the people inside of it, the corruption that builds up, the corrosion. It's the same thing. Trump's just changing the oil. Thank God. That's why we have a two-party system in this country, by the way. And so the other party holds the other one accountable. That's why they always are opposites. Oh, I'm pro. I think we should build a wall. Well, if you think we should build a wall, I think we should not build a wall. Right? They do the opposites to keep the other one accountable. That's why we go back and forth. It creates stability, actually. Going back and forth, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. It creates stability because it cleans out the system. Biden was asleep on the job for 4 years. His BIPOC, queer folk, handlers, and people who were actually running the government did an okay job of not letting us to all die. Although they allowed the Israel-Hamas conflict, the Russian-Ukraine conflict to take hold. I don't believe either of those would have happened under Trump. There's a reason why Afghanistan fell, a month after Biden took office? Was it a year and a month? I forget, but I think it was a month or a couple of months. The point is, him failing in Afghanistan, giving the Taliban all of our weapons, and just letting the Taliban run wild, that immediately sent the signal to the world, do what you want. And Putin said, I'll invade Ukraine. And Israel said, well, since no one's watching, might as well attack Hamas, right? This is the people who hated Trump. This is the one things they don't like, is the one thing that they cause to happen. If you read Macbeth, in trying to prevent the one thing you don't want to happen, that's what causes that one thing to happen, right? Because you wanted open borders, the cartels got bigger, and they destroyed the countries even more, right? You wanted to protect people, but you hurt them, right? So there's some bad in with the good, but overwhelmingly I am highly happy and pleased with the progress Trump has made. I hope that some of these can get enshrined into law via Congress and not just be wiped away when the next Democrat takes office. So that is my opinions and my views. Feel free to disagree, but keep it civil.